mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. Whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut.
Does Lucy actually look the part? But she's even proven exactly how much she'd love to play.
After the massive controversy surrounding Disney's Snow White, fans are calling for a serious change, and Lucy Hale might just be the perfect replacement for Rachel Zegler. Not only does Lucy look the part, but she's also proven just how much she adores the character. With all the backlash Disney and Rachel have stirred up, many believe it's time for Disney to cut its losses and bring in an actress who can actually do Snow White justice. Lucy Hale isn't just a great visual match. Fans argue she embodies Snow White's classic charm far better than Rachel ever could. Unlike Zegler, who has repeatedly dismissed the original film, Lucy has shown genuine admiration for the character and understands what makes her iconic. From the very start, Disney seemed determined to turn Snow White into something completely different, starting with its controversial casting decisions. The choice to cast Rachel Zegler, a Latina actress, as Snow White didn't sit well with many fans, not because of her heritage, but because she simply doesn't match the character's defining traits. And on top of that, her dismissive attitude toward the original movie only fueled the backlash. Snow White isn't just a princess. She's a symbol of kindness, resilience, and unwavering hope. She represents love, friendship, and the ability to lead with grace. Fans believe Lucy Hale could actually bring those qualities to life, unlike Rachel, who seems more interested in rewriting the story than respecting it. So, could Lucy Hale be the saving grace of this remake? Or is Disney too far gone to turn things around? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on Hollywood's latest controversies. One of the biggest issues fans have with Rachel Zegler's take on Snow White is her complete dismissal of the original story's themes, particularly the love story. According to Rachel, Snow White doesn't need a love interest, claiming it's outdated and irrelevant for modern audiences. But here's the thing, the romance in Snow White has never been controversial. In fact, it's a classic element of the story that fans have cherished for decades. It's clear that Disney is trying to push a feminist Snow White, but the way they're going about it seems completely disconnected from what fans actually want. Many argue that love isn't anti-feminist, and removing romance from these stories doesn't automatically make them progressive. Disney's recent obsession with erasing love stories under the guise of modernizing fairy tales isn't empowering. It's alienating audiences who grew up with and love these classics. Another issue is Disney's relentless push for forced diversity in its remakes. Representation is important, and everyone should have the chance to see themselves in stories. But changing core elements of existing classics just for the sake of inclusivity often feels forced and unnecessary. Fans have repeatedly said the same thing. Instead of rewriting beloved tales to fit a modern agenda, why doesn't Disney just focus on creating new original stories where diverse characters and fresh narratives can naturally shine? Disney has strayed so far from what made its classics magical in the first place, and the backlash against Snow White proves it. But what do you think? Is this remake doomed from the start, or can Disney still course correct? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on Hollywood's biggest controversies. Disney's decision to cast Rachel Zegler as Snow White has been one of the most controversial choices in the film's production. Snow White is not just a name, it's a direct reference to the character's defining trait, her skin being as white as snow. The story itself is a German fairy tale, deeply rooted in German culture, history, and folklore. From its enchanted forests to its fairy tale castles, everything about Snow White is tied to its European origins. So, when Disney chose to cast an actress who doesn't match the character's original description, many fans felt it was a major misstep. Now, to be fair, Rachel Zegler is undoubtedly a talented singer, and she could have done justice to the musical side of the role. But beyond that, there's little connecting her to the character. What's been especially disheartening to fans isn't just the casting choice itself, but Rachel's own attitude toward the film and its legacy. Her comments about Snow White have often come across as dismissive, even disrespectful, making it clear that she doesn't have the same appreciation for the original story as the fans who grew up loving it. This isn't about being against diversity, it's about respecting source material. Audiences have repeatedly expressed that they want authenticity in their favorite stories, not forced changes that alter the very essence of a beloved character. Instead of trying to rewrite existing tales to fit a modern agenda, why not create new stories that naturally represent different cultures and backgrounds? What do you think? Should Disney have stuck closer to the original vision, or does their approach make sense for today's audience? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on the latest Hollywood controversies. Into Rachel. Zegler hasn't just sparked controversy with her casting, she's also made it clear that she never even liked Snow White to begin with. In past interviews, she admitted to watching the original film only once as a child and never revisiting it, even saying it terrified her. For many fans, this raises a big question. Why cast someone in such an iconic role when they don't even appreciate or respect the source material? Rather than honoring the legacy of Snow White, Rachel's comments have come across as dismissive, almost mocking the very film that made this remake possible. This disconnect between the actress and the character is just another reason why so many fans are calling this live-action adaptation a disaster in the making.
As a prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave.
Many fans believe Rachel Zegler is undeserving of the role, especially when there are countless other actresses who not only resemble Snow White, but also respect the character's legacy. With Snow White already facing massive backlash, both for its creative direction and Rachel's dismissive comments, many are now calling for a full recast. Message. The movie has already been delayed multiple times, proving that Disney does have the power to make changes if public outcry is strong enough. This isn't the first time controversy has plagued the film. When news first broke about the remake, many assumed Disney would stay true to the original by casting actors with dwarfism. However, actor Peter Dinklage publicly criticized the decision, arguing that it played into outdated stereotypes. Into. I was a little taken aback by Disney being very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White. But at the same time, they're still telling the story of Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Take a step back and look at what you're doing. Does that make any sense? On one hand, you're trying to be progressive, but on the other, you're still pushing what some see as a backward narrative about dwarves living in caves. What's the message here? Into great move in the eyes of many fans. Instead of casting real actors with dwarfism, Disney opted for CGI versions, making the decision feel even more detached from what made the original special. Many argue that this not only erased opportunities for actors with dwarfism, but also made the film feel even less authentic. The backlash over Disney's handling of Snow White has been intense, and delaying the movie to 2025 only confirms that the studio is struggling to balance modern sensibilities with classic storytelling. Whether these last-minute changes will be enough to win audiences back remains to be seen, but one thing is clear. Fans are tired of seeing beloved stories changed beyond recognition, undressed up as Snow White for an event, further proving just how naturally she fits the role. Fans believe that her elegance, classic beauty, and love for the character would make her a much better choice than Rachel Zegler. Disney is at a crossroads. Ignore fan backlash and push forward with an already controversial film, or take the time to truly respect the legacy of Snow White. If history has shown anything, it's that audiences will reject movies that feel out of touch with what made the originals beloved in the first place. If Disney listens and reworks the project with a cast and story that stays true to the fairy tale's roots, they might just turn this disaster into a redemption story. What do you think? Should Disney start over and bring in Lucy Hale? Or is it too late to fix the damage? Let us know in the comments. With so much fan support behind Lucy Hale and the overwhelming backlash against Rachel Zegler's casting, it's clear that audiences want a Snow White that stays true to the classic fairy tale. Lucy's timeless beauty, singing talent, and admiration for the character make her an obvious choice in the eyes of many fans. If Disney is serious about salvaging this project, recasting might be the only way to win back its audience. What do you think? Would Lucy Hale be the perfect Snow White, or is it too late to fix the damage? Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more updates on Disney's biggest controversies.